yes, there is life after Rocky. As a matter of fact, I've been doing a great deal of painting. This is a little something I worked up called Superman in the City. You may not recognize it, you may never recognize it, but I do have something you will recognize.
Yo, Sly. I just come to California for a vacation, so I just drop in, you know. Hey, I look this painting, I like this paint. I look at all these colors. I mean, I look like an Indian or something, don't I?
Yo, I remember when I won this belt here, you know, but now I've been eating all this ravioli from Adrian. I better get back to the gym. I can't believe this. What are you doing here?
Well, you know, I figured after 14 years we should meet, and I just wanted to meet you, and I didn't have a lot to do in Philly, so here I am. You know, this is incredible. You know, I have so much I want to say to you. After all, you did give me everything.
Yo, you gave me some stuff, too, like black eyes, bruises, Adrian.
I was just kidding about the black eyes, you know.
You got a sense of humor. I like that, but I don't know about this wardrobe. And to tell you the truth, Rock, I did think you were taller. No offense.
So for those that have been following for a very long time, you'll know that Stallone is one of my all-time favorite action stars. He's probably my favorite, and I have watched everything he's ever done. And being a big fan of Laserdiscs, I have collected the majority of his career throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I've kind of got these organized in chronological order throughout his career. So I think the oldest one I have right here is this Rocky release, which came out, I think, around 1990. It's a 2-discer, because Rocky's not the shortest movie ever, and I think there's a little bit of side 3 that finishes the movie. That was the second Laserdisc I ever bought, too, by the way. Here's Paradise Alley. Now, this is a really cool movie where Stallone basically trains a pro wrestler. Takes place in, like, I think the 40s or something. It's a really cool timepiece. Really like this movie. Really cool one. Paradise Alley. You know, this is one of the latter ones I saw. For some reason, I didn't see Paradise Alley for a while, but it's not exactly his biggest hit ever. It's kind of a, you know, lesser-known Stallone film, quite frankly. But it's a good one. He actually does some singing in that one. All right, Rocky 2, man. I love Rocky 2. I think I know what my favorite Rocky is, and I'll let you know when we get to it, but Rocky 2 is the real deal. Now, this is a fairly older Laserdisc. I think this one came out in the early 80s. This is basically like a pan and scan VHS rip type thing. It looks a little bit better than the VHS, obviously, but this was before Laserdisc really got that just glowing good look to them. But there's Rocky 2. All right, here we go. First Blood, man. Now, First Blood, I think this is probably my all-time favorite Stallone movie. This is probably in my top 10 movies of all time. What a great movie. I mean, First Blood, there's so much to be said about First Blood, the message of the movie, the way our soldiers were treated when they came back from the Vietnam War. And, I mean, Stallone went there during this time. This movie has been talked about where Stallone said he cut out so much of the movie because his character talked before, and he said it was awful. All right, here's Rocky 3 on Laserdisc. Now, I think this is my favorite Rocky film. But this is going to be one of those things where I rewatch it and change my mind. But I always liked Rocky 3. Clubber Lang was such an awesome villain. I love Clubber Lang. Hey, woman! Hey, woman! How would you like to come be with a real man? I mean, that would have pissed me off, too. But Clubber was great, man. He swung like a monster in that, man. I just love Rocky 3. All right, Rocky 4. Now, this Laserdisc right here, you can see it comes from, I think it says Kansas up there. Yeah, man, I like Rocky 4. It's not my favorite, but the soundtrack from, I believe it's Vince DiCola, is undeniable. It will get me off my butt, and I will exercise even in the, you know, worst mental conditions I have. This movie will get me off my butt. I love Rocky 4, even if it's basically a big music video and music montages. It does serve its purpose in getting me motivated. How about Rhinestone? Have any of you guys ever seen this movie? Where Stallone is a taxi cab driver and he decides he's going to start singing country music with Dolly Parton. It is one of the best, worst movies ever. Stallone actually sings everything in here. If you're gonna do anything for this movie, guys, go on YouTube after this and type in Rhinestone Drinkenstein and hear Stallone saying, "Budweiser, you created a monster." It's hysterical. Oh, yeah, Rambo, First Blood Part 2. I mean, does it get much better than this? First of all, I love that the Laserdisc is just like a big glow of flame, which is something I've used on my channel. I love First Blood Part 2. It's not my favorite, actually. There's another one in here that I actually prefer more than First Blood Part 2. I like First Blood Part 2, but it's not that it doesn't age well, because that's silly. I mean, it's 80s action. Nothing's better. But I just think that I don't know. I think I'll tell you the one I like more when we get to it. Stallone's Cobra, man. I mean, this is the story goes that he was going to do Beverly Hills Cop, but he wanted to kind of make it more serious in tone, but the producers did not. So Stallone went on to make this movie in Cobra, which is a much more serious, almost slasher film, and where Beverly Hills Cop became what it was, a comedy with Eddie Murphy. But Cobra, man, great movie. And that's Brigitte Nielsen, his wife, which was a disaster. He was like 40 years old, marrying a 19-year-old at the time. This is probably the best-looking Laserdisc I own, guys, my Rambo 3, and this one I love more than First Blood Part 2. I can't help myself. Something about Rambo 3, I just love it. I love Rambo 3. I like the character of Rambo in this one. He's been through more, and he's a little bit more subdued, and I just like this one. I love it when the colonel tells that guy, "Where are the missiles located?" "Up your ass." That's just a great moment. Over the top. Now this is during the Canon era, Canon Pictures, and you know the story goes that Stallone was like, "I'm not going to do Canon movies. Are you kidding me? I've seen the kind of crazy stuff they do," but they offered him, I think, like 13 or 14 million a movie or something, or like for a 3-movie deal or something. He got paid a ton of money. And even though Over the Top wasn't a box office success, it's definitely got a cult following now. It's a movie about arm wrestling. All right, Stallone's Lockup, guys. This is from '89. This is like a really serious, kind of sad movie. One of the better prison films, quite frankly. And Donald Sutherland plays the warden, and he is just fantastic. Great cast in this movie. Great, beautiful soundtrack. Lockup's a great one, guys. I think it's out on Blu-ray. I think I have it in a double pack with, like, Kickboxer or something, but it's a great movie, guys. Lock Up, really check it out. It's really underrated. How about Tango and Cash, man? I love this film so much. Robert Starr, the maniac cop, is in here, and he is hysterical. This is such a fun cop movie. They go to prison. They got to break up. Clint Howard as well is hysterical in this movie. Clint Howard is a Stallone's cellmate in here, and I do like Stallone's character just as much, if not more, than Kurt Russell's in this one. I loved Stallone during the fancy dress era, if you will. All right, Rocky V, man. I love Rocky V. I don't get the fuss about Stallone not liking this film. I think he should get over himself, quite frankly. I think Rocky V's great, getting him back to his roots. I love him training a new boxer and everything. I thought Tommy Gunn was a great character. I loved the story. And I loved seeing Stallone work with his own kid. Rest in peace to Sage Stallone, who passed away a number of years ago. It was really sad. All right, this movie, guys, is insane. Oscar. This is like this really big-budget slapstick comedy movie that Stallone did when he was trying to branch out and do more comedic stuff, because Schwarzenegger was very successful in that avenue. This movie's directed by John Landis, and it has everybody in it. I mean, anybody who was anybody during this time. The cast was insane. Tim Curry's in this movie. Everybody's in this movie. You have to see it to believe it. I like it, but it's bizarre. Check out Oscar from '91. Oh my God, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot is just pure garbage cheese. The story goes that Stallone, his manager, called him up and said, "Look, they're going to get Schwarzenegger for this movie unless you do it." And apparently Schwarzenegger was tricking Stallone about these kinds of movies, and so Stallone did it. It's really silly and cheesy, but I absolutely can't help but love Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I just, sue me. All right, Cliffhanger is where he got back on track. This is also a Rennie Harlan directed film. He had a lot riding on this movie. Stallone's talked about, like, he basically was like 2 strikes and 1 more and you're out kind of thing. And luckily he got a great script with Cliffhanger. Rennie Harlan directing. It's a great action flick. Cliffhanger is among the top of '90s action period. So this movie was quite frankly a saving grace. Oh, yeah, Demolition Man. I mean, Jesus, man. This is such rewatch value. I also love the fact that they basically say that Taco Bell becomes, like, the only restaurant in the future. And they still could be right one day. Who knows? I need to get one of those Taco Bell logo shirts like they have in there. They eat, like, pills and stuff, and that's their food. Sandra Bullock's in here. Great movie. I don't know how to use the 3 seashells either. At The Specialist, here's my, I believe it's my Japanese Laserdisc for The Specialist. Stallone and Sharon Stone. Good movie. It's not my favorite from him. It's a little slow at times. But there was this guy on Facebook who used to get like just boatloads of Japanese Laserdiscs in, and he would sell them pretty cheap, especially these kinds of titles, and I would snag them up. But I think I have there it is, the American counterpart of The Specialist 2. Definitely check it out if you're into good action films. I mean, it's a good one. The cast is good. Probably one of the better Sharon Stone performances, quite frankly. She's actually really good in this. Stallone's great in this movie. I just feel it was maybe just forgettable in the long run. All right, now we're talking Stallone and Antonio Banderas in Assassins. Dude, I absolutely love this movie. This was a movie that I believe I saw on Netflix when I was really just breaking down Stallone's career and trying to watch a lot of his stuff, and I loved it. This movie has a very, very dark opening. They're assassins, they're hitmen, and the movie opens up with Stallone in the back of like a swamp, marshy area, and this guy, Stallone got paid to kill this guy, and Stallone's like this almost good assassin, right, where he basically gives the guy the dignity to let him kill himself instead of Stallone killing him out in the woods. And yeah, so I had the Japanese counterpart as well, but here is the American Laserdisc, and yeah, it's a great one. I really like it. Good movie. Antonio is great. There's a great scene in a taxi cab with those two guys. You got to check it out. All right, here we go. Judge Dredd. I do love this movie. This is such great, cheesy, big budget action. Stallone as Judge Dredd. Who would have thought? Now, this movie was not a massive success in America, but luckily the foreign markets really loved it, and they brought it right over to the profitability point. I mean, it's definitely got a cult following now. Rob Schneider's in here. Funny cast. I love it. And here's the American. I believe I have the American release with not as cool artwork. I wonder if Stallone had some kind of deal like, look, you guys, I do not want to be masked up in this movie the entire way, or when you put the movie on VHS or home video, like, don't cover my face kind of thing. So that Japanese Laserdisc is obviously way cooler, but still, I love the cheesy 90s action style of the artwork on this too, so. All right, guys, now this is one of the most underrated 90s movies ever, quite frankly. Daylight is a disaster film. Basically, there's a bridge that connects New York and New Jersey that goes underwater, and there's this massive explosion, and it gets, people trapped down there, and they can't get out because they're surrounded by water. They don't know where to go, and Stallone manages to get down there to try to save the people. It is amazing, amazing, amazing movie. And here it is, guys, my last Laserdisc. This is at the very end of the lifespan, Copland. This is a movie where Stallone tried to get his career on a certain path because he was getting scrutinized as he's just an action guy that can't do anything. He failed in the comedy, portion of his career, but this movie he just really caught his stride in a good drama film. Copland, what a great cast. Stallone not only holds his own, but quite frankly, I think outperforms some of the legends in this film. We got Ray Liotta, we've got, Robert De Niro, amazing cast, and Stallone is just as fantastic as ever. So I think that's it, guys. I think that's my Laserdisc collection of Stallone movies. I don't have all of them, but I've got a lot. If I was going to recommend any two that I think some people might not have seen, it would definitely be Assassins, and you gotta go with Judge Dredd. You got to. So let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite Laserdisc I've got? Thanks for checking out my Stallone Laserdisc collection.